doesn't have a penis.
Yeah. Well, he does have the penis because he talked about it when he got that.
Oh god, it's bad.
When he got that weapon in DMC4,
Sentient
he
ball
talked
sack.
about ramming it in.
Well, I mean, he was probably just imitating the porn.
Yeah. He's aware that innuendos are a thing.
Yeah, he's aware.
But he doesn't know that sex. He doesn't know.
he knows he's supposed to have something down there, but he doesn't really know what it is.
Yeah, in the prequel novel, he goes back to like the land of Devil May Cry 2, and like talks to Lucia again, and she is like throwing her pussy at his face during that entire chapter. Like, just throwing it at him, and he's like, ew.
Yeah, get out of here.
He's like,
slut.
Gross.
Whoa, girls have cooties.
I don't like it.
Yeah, you look like my mom. Dark Soul was light.
Because, like, you could...
I'm only into girls that look like my mom.
Gross. Because you could be like, okay, well, maybe Dante doesn't want to get with, like, a normal girl, like a human girl, because, like... Because it's been implied throughout the series for a long time that Dante's kind of self-loathing about his demonness side. Like, he thinks he's a freak, kind of.
A demo-American.
So, like, hanging out with, like, normal people doesn't sit with him.
Yeah.
And then, like, you know, who the fuck else does he know?
Yeah.
What else does he know that has a pussy in his life? Trish, who looks like his mom.
Yep.
Which is fucking gross and weird.
He's pretty much sterile.
Yeah, like, he just doesn't have a lot of other options.
Yeah. To him, sex is either really bad or really bad.
But then Nero, he's got a fucking girlfriend. Which is, again, another... I didn't talk about it so much in DMC4, I don't think. But again... There's a very clear parallel between DMC4 and Metal Gear Solid 2. Welcome to my TED Talk where I'm talking about the parallels between DMC4 and Metal Gear Solid 2. Which is that, like, Solid Snake is, number one, he is sterile. Number two, he can't do relationships with people. Well, that's not true, because he's pretty gay with Otacon, but that's neither here nor there. Compared to Raiden, who is in a relationship with Rose, and that's a whole thing. And the entire idea of the relationship with Rose is that it's supposed to be like... It's supposed to play into the idea of... You know, let's not get into this conversation about... about Metal Gear Solid while we're playing Devil May Cry, because that's a whole other thing.
I feel like it'd be disrespectful.
Okay, we're clamoring on that.
That was the fourth ball, not mine.
I wish Silver was more like Nero. I could see that so vividly. It's sort of unfair.
So vividly.
Because, like, the comparison is not unfair because, like, with Dante and Virgil, you kind of have to twist it a little bit.
Yes.
But the unfair part is there's not a lot to Silver to work with.
Yeah, because...
He's not used that often.
Yeah, he didn't get a chance.
No, he never really had a chance.
Fuck this part, I hate that.
Why am I not skipping these for you?
God, that's just gross. Makes me feel the ickies.
Gross.
Whoa, there was a big spider.
I don't like it.
I didn't like it. There was a little house centipede. I wasn't very smart.
So DMC Devil May Cry happened. So again, like, we'll never really know how he actually feels about it.
Yeah.
And, you know, whatever. Like, for once in our life, secret missions are not the worst fucking thing. This is still kind of hard, though. Line up. You gotta line it up. There we go. It's like the first fucking time in the series secret missions are, like, actually good. We'll never really know, but we have been told things. And the things we have been told have been revealing.
And we can certainly ascertain and
So, like,
infer.
it is probably a good thing that I waited. before doing it. Like, it's good that it's been like a month and there's been time.
Yeah.
Right? Because things have come out about this game, and more things have happened with the game also. Which is one of the things that happened is there was an interview with Ruben Langdon, the voice actor for Dante, where he talked about Itsuno, like part of how this game got made. Which was after DMC Devil May Cry, Itsuno was like, I'm fucking quitting. This is bullshit.
Yeah.
Keiji Inafuno's a piece of shit.
That soon-to-be Mighty Number 9 guy?
Yeah, that Mighty Number 9 guy fucking made us do this, and it was such a bad idea and such a mistake that I am out. I do not feel like my talents and my contributions to this company are being respected. I deserve better than this. I'm outie. And Capcom was like, please do not do that.
Yeah.
Like, please do not quit. You are very important to us. We value your talent and your contribution to this company. What do you want?
Mm-hmm.
They wrote him a blank fucking check and said, like, whatever it will take for you to stay, we will do that. And he's like, let me make the Devil May Cry game that I actually want to make. And, like, to be fair, I also see where it's like, he didn't want to quit because of DMC Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
But that was certainly the
a big
straw
part.
that broke the camel's back.
It was a part.
Because, like, how did this whole saga with Itsuno being involved with DMC begin? It involved with them going, hey, so they're making this game and we need you to help them finish this game. Okay, I can do that. Yeah, you have 2 months. Part 1 of this story was him having 2 months to get DMC 2 rushed
That's how it
out the
started.
fucking door. And it never really... And then part 2 was, please do not let me go down in history as the guy responsible for DMC 2.
Yeah.
Please let me make DMC 3. And I'm sure he had to make that under concessions.
Yeah.
Like, it probably cost him something, like, 1 for them, 1 for me. Like, I'm sure it cost him something to have the right to do that.
Yeah.
And then DMC4 started happening. And once again, that had to get rushed. Clearly, there were creative compromises that had to get made.
There's only half a game.
Yeah. Fucking... Dante's storyline is him walking through the first half of the game backwards.
Yeah, when that happens, you know there was some time constraint.
So, I'm not saying it's all DMC Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
But then they're like, well, this game that you made, DMC 4, did not meet our expectations, so we're gonna have someone else do your job for you. How the fuck is that supposed to make him feel? You think he was happy that, like, we're just gonna have this Western developer make your series instead now?
You made the best-selling DMC game so far, but for some reason it didn't meet our weird expectations. Therefore, we're giving your job to someone else now.
Yeah, like, well, you didn't do it what we wanted, therefore they will do it for you.
Yeah.
How the fuck... You think he has a positive emotion about that?
Yeah.
You think he's like, yeah, I think it's a great game.
I had fun making it.
Fuck you!
Yeah.
Like, he has openly admitted that he thinks DMC 2 is a piece of shit. How do you think he feels about DMC Devil May Cry?
Yeah.
You think just because he doesn't talk about it in interviews, like, you're assuming that he must have positive feelings about
and
it?
DMC 2 has an excuse.
Yeah, like, we know why DMC 2 is bad.
You know why I want Clay Aiken.
It's like, don't assume the negative don't assume the positive.
Yeah.
Just because the negative was not stated.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean... There are really, like... It's just not something you do. Even if you hate the game, you don't come out and say, yeah, I hate this game that my company made that I, had somewhat of a part
Don't bite the
in.
hand that feeds.
Yeah, you just don't do that. It's
still
just
worked on it.
Yeah. His
He
name's
was
on it.
involved. His name's in the fucking credits.
Yeah.
You think he's gonna talk shit?
Capcom is who he works for. He's not
Yeah,
gonna go out
exactly.
and just say, "Yeah, this sucked."
Even Hideki Kamiya, who got fucked over by Capcom. Like, to the point where he left Capcom.
Yeah.
Whenever people talk shit about Capcom, he's like, don't talk shit about
Yeah,
Capcom.
exactly.
Like, it's called professionalism.
Exactly. It's like that thing when Shia LaBeouf went on
Yeah,
that
he's
talk
like-
show and was like,
Oh, George Lucas fucked everything up.
Yeah.
Ask Harrison Ford, he'll tell you. And Harrison Ford was like, shut the
"Yeah,
fuck
you
up.
don't fucking do
What
that.
is wrong with you?
This is a business. This is professionalism. You don't shit talk people like that on talk shows.
Yeah, like, you're
Shut
not
up,
gonna
kid.
get hired
Yeah.
now. You think you're gonna get hired after that?
Yeah. Even by anyone else, because it's like, well, if something happens, you'll go on fucking The Tonight Show and talk about it, you know. It's professionalism. You don't do that. You don't burn bridges.
Exactly, you never know. You never know what's gonna happen in the
It's
future.
a small fucking world. Don't
Yeah.
burn bridges.
That's like, speaking of Sonic, there was a fucking, like, some bitch who was involved in, like, the localization process for Sonic Adventure 2, where, like, people, like, another thing where it's like, oh, enough time has passed where people are deciding to be contrarian about
Yeah.
it. And being like, oh, Sonic Adventure 2 had a bad localization. Like, yeah, the first game where the developers are like, stop just doing whatever the fuck you want. We know what we want our story to be.
Yeah.
So, like, number one, I reject this notion from the get-go.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the Japanese developers don't understand that there's a difference. Like, no, they didn't want you to make whatever kind of
Yeah.
weird story you wanted to with their game.
They didn't give you a blank check to do whatever you wanted. It wasn't carte blanche access to just make the thing you want to make. You're localizing our game, remember?
Yeah, they have a right to tell you what they
Yeah.
want done with the localization of their game.
Yeah, we hired you to localize our game, not
Yeah.
like the other way around.
So, like, people are, like, in this weird contrarian thing, where it's like, oh, Sonic Adventure 2 bad. Anyway, so there was this, like, Facebook Q&A, I guess, with some lady who was involved, where, like, she was just shit-talking the producer, like, the creative people involved from Sega Japan, who were there and being like, no, have them say Yosh, and like, Wata, and, like, you know, stuff like that, where it's like, well, no, we don't do that.
Yeah.
That's part of our localization. Like, they didn't let us do our job. It's like, why are you burning this bridge?
Yeah, exactly. You guarantee you'll never get that job again.
Even if you're right, you shouldn't be
Exactly.
talking like
It's
this
not the
about
point.
it.
It's not the point whether you're right or wrong. You're
Whether you're telling the truth or
being
not,
unprofessional.
you're making a mistake talking about this.
Yeah.
Not because, like, oh, you're revealing you're talking about the priests fucking the kids.
Yeah. Jesus.
The point is, like, you're being incredibly unprofessional right now.
And you're burning bridges. And if you hated doing that job, well, good news, you're never going to work in that field again.
good news. You won't have that job anymore.
Yeah.
Because you're a fucking idiot. So, take anything Itsuno has said about DMC Devil May Cry with a grain of salt. And, like, to be fair, I take that interview with Ruben Langdon with a grain of salt, because, like, who can actually fucking say?
Yeah.
Right? None of us actually know.
Yeah.
And it's never as simple
Yeah.
as
no.
that. It's never gonna be just black and white, like, oh, he hated it.
Yeah.
Oh, he actually liked it.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. It's a complex situation. It was a complex time. It was a dark time for Capcom.
Yes.
And for us.
And for people
And the
who played.
industry.
Yeah.
The most Sonic it has ever been. To me, in my mind, DMC DMC the series and Sonic are very closely linked. I don't even know why. Maybe when I played DMC for the first time,
Yeah.
it was one of those things. Because, like, I talk about, like, I played Shadow the Hedgehog. I can never truly agree that Shadow the Hedgehog is a bad game. Because when I played it for the first time, I was also playing a game called 25 to Life.
Yep.
And that is a bad game.
Yep.
You can never convince
I
me
remember that
that
video you
Shadow
made.
the Hedgehog is a bad game.
Yeah.
Because I went from 25 to Life to Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yep.
this discussion is over. Okay, I know
much
what
perspective.
I know what a bad game looks like.
Yep, it's like that Spinal Tap scene. That's too much. Too much fucking perspective now.
than anything else. No offense.
Why won't they release the soundtrack on Spotify or something? Goddamn.
Oh yeah, didn't they release everything else on Spotify?
No, Sonic Forces released their soundtrack on Spotify.
Oh.
This game, they have not released the soundtrack for this game yet. It's upsetting.
It's upsetting.
Just like this part.
That's very upsetting.
No, I don't like it. Why did you shove your own hands into the lava of your
Don't
mouth?
Question lava mouth, stomach
I like how
flat.
Nera's like, what?
What?
Cool trick. Hey, do you do parties?
So this is like... On the surface, it seems like, oh, he's doing the Dante thing, but he's not really doing the Dante thing. It's
doing the
different. But I talk about this to a minor degree in DMC4, which is like, it's stated in like the lore, or whatever, that like Sparta was like a combination of Dante and Virgil's personalities, where like on a personal level, he was like Dante, like to those he knew, and during battle he was like Virgil, where he was like just a stone cold badass. Nero is the opposite, where in his personal life he's a stupid asshole and like a tsundere little bitch, but during battle he's like a fucking chode. He's like, fuck you guys. Like that's like Dante's putting on an act. It's clearly some kind of weird coping mechanism for severe emotional issues that he has. It's like that little picture where it's like actually suffering from severe depression.
I love the detail on that little moment where all the stained glass falls in.
Yeah. This whole boss fight is such a, like, no wonder this was in the demo.
Yeah.
Because like this is such a tech demo moment.
Yeah. And even going through like that little hotel thing and everything where like you cut the chairs into pieces and they all fall. It's like really detailed.
Yeah, they're really happy about the RE engine.
Yeah, the particle physics.
I do not have all the tools that I usually have. I cannot do stylish combo videos. 'Cause, oh man, let me tell you, I can get some fucking smoking sexy styles in this game now. I'm not even afraid to brag about it. That's how confident I am. It's one of those things where I go, no, I said it and now I'm not going to be able to do it. But when I have the tools that I need, I can do the things. But I do not have those tools right now.
How about we wrap this up?
See, like, this is one of those moments, like, he's sitting there in a vulnerable state, and normally, that's one of those things, is the game if you play DMC4, you're used to having Dante's fucking devil arm. Yeah, baby. You're used to having the devil bringer, and you grab the boss while he's in his little vulnerable state, and you do a cool finishing move. That happened. But now it's like, oh no, I don't have that anymore. You feel...
666.
Nero had his arm taken away in the cutscene, and it's traumatic and a bad thing, and it has a direct impact on the gameplay. This aspect of Nero's character mechanics, the way he plays as a character, has had a fucking element taken away from it because of something that happened in the story. He had his arm taken away, so now you can't use the fucking Devil Bringer anymore because he doesn't have it anymore, and you feel it. I'm like, when I played this for the first time, I was like, man, I really miss having the Devil Bringer.
Yeah.
I really miss, because like you can still bring enemies towards you, but I miss having that like grab enemies and fuck them up.
Little wanderer, I be home.
I like how everyone else in the game is like, V, you're such a fucking weirdo.
I don't like you.
Gonna have to pick you out of his tummy teeth.
Pardon my delay. I was catching up on some...
Very exploitable image.
Yep.
Screenshot moment. So it is written. I can fart without shitting, but I can't shit without farting. So it is written.
Dante's still in there?
If Urizen defeated him, then I expect he's not much more than Glyphod pollen by now.
What?
Glyphod. It's a tree that grows in the underworld.
I'm sure that term originates from something.
Those
I
whose
mean,
blood it
everything
sucks, well,
rich.
let's just
Like,
say
I'm
they
when I
don't
play
have
through this and I'm using, like, his devil breakers and stuff like that, I'm just like,
Well, in any case,
man, I would really just rather have the devil arm right now. I would really rather just have the fucking Buster, you know?
Need to
I-
exterminate some.
These are not good trade-offs compared to the
They're not-
tool set he had
Not equal.
in DMC 4. Like, I actively...
what the hell are you?
I like that. Everyone's like, V, you're so fucking weird.
Freak.
What's your deal?
Freak, dude.
I know I'm late. Shut it. The roads were all clogged.
So hey, once again, new DMC game exists, new female character.
There you go.
Every DMC game has a new female character.
I'm gonna make something amazing.
1 had Trish, 2 had Lucia, 3 had Lady, 4 had Kyrie, 5 has Nico.
Do you have
Nico
any
Bellic.
idea where that's been?
Up your butt.
Nico's the best.
Focus on the mission.
I love her character. I'm sure, like, this game, there's a couple of moments where it's like, I'm sure they did their best, but overall, this game is very well localized.
Yeah.
I'm sure they had a lot of fun translating this script.
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine how dry it must have been comparatively in Japanese. And, like, the few moments are, like... I'm sure this actually plays better in Japanese because there's more flexibility to
Yeah.
the language.
Mhm.
Whereas in English, you had to do that thing where it's like... Metal Gear Solid's another good example where it's like, choose your own destiny, but don't be, like... Don't be slave to fate, choose your own destiny. It's like, those two words mean the same thing. You just said two things that are the same thing.
Yeah, you stared at a thesaurus for a
Yeah,
couple
exactly,
hours and then
like-
just went, fuck it,
Like,
there's no
someone
word.
told you a writing tool, which is don't use the same word in a sentence more than once.
Behold, my genius. Cash first.
All the materials I collected for your little pet projects don't count for anything.
My brilliant badass work is worth every dime. You know it.
Whenever you ask an artist for a free piece of art,
Don't let the demon smack you around so much.
do I have to pay for it? Can't you just do it for free? My brilliant badass work is worth every cent, you know it.
And truly gifted. It's a work of art.
Oh, so you're an artist now.
I love Griffin so much.
Herbs.
Look at me in the background just laughing.
With a 45 caliber virtuoso, legendary gunsmith. I hope to be like her someday, an artist and a lethal artisan. Everything I create is art, whether it's a gun or a steel pot to cook birds in.
I can't imagine he tastes very good.
Any more questions? Huh? Little cheeky.
I'll take my leave now.
Smoking,
Ah,
ew.
He smokes.
Eh. So notice, the Griffin disappeared. Just poof.
Poof.
Sure. What are you gonna do?
I gotta shake the cobwebs out. I'll let you know. Hey, you got any more questions? Better ask it now. I can't read minds. Ooh, well, yeah.
Although, like, again, DMC is one of those series where it's hard for me to imagine what the original Japanese is like, because from the beginning, the games were voice acted in English.
Yeah.
Like, there never was an original Japanese.
Evil.
Yeah, like, they just... I mean, like, that's part of why the first game was so fucking weird, is because, like, you know, a Japanese developer was giving voice direction to
Yeah.
English voice actors.
Yeah.
So
however the fuck that's supposed to
yeah,
work.
things got lost in the nuance there.
Yeah.
Metroid Other M is actually another really good example of that happening, because, like, Metroid Other M is a game with its own bag of worms,
Brought their own bag of sausages.
where the voice actress for Samus talked about how, like, look, man, I just did what the voice director told me to do.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, okay, yeah, you're fine. Not your fault.
Yeah.
Like, how fucked up is it to be a voice actor and, like, trying to give a performance,
Yeah.
and the director doesn't fucking speak English?
Yeah. And forces you to give a bad one.
And it was like, no, say it like this, and, like, just be like, no, do it different.
Yeah.
And they can't actually communicate to you what they want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, there's in the commentary mode for Portal, the voice actress for Gladys talked about how, like, the direction she got for voicing Gladys was really, really good. She talked about, like, okay, they told me to say this line with, like, you know, whatever, like, however they described, like, the emotion she should have while conveying that line. And she was like, I've never been asked, like, that gives me so much material to work with.
Yeah, what direction is supposed to.
Because when you get right down to it, voice actors are artists.
Yeah.
They're performing. They're actor. Like, you know, there is craft to what they do. And an artist is only as good as his tools.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can make... And, like, sometimes you can make better art with more limitations than you would with, you know, an infinite canvas and all the colors in the rainbow. But if you don't give them what they need to perform well, then they're, you know, it's going to reflect that.
Yeah.
Whereas if you give them a lot to work with, if you tell them if the voice director and the voice actor work in tandem, and, you know, there's equal input from both sides, you can get something really great. But in this game, in this Assassin's Creed game, Ezio was in there, but you can tell that was not Roger Craig Smith. Like, he was just in a minor role for, like, 2 scenes, so I guess they didn't want to pay his salary. Look over there, you can see him!
Yeah.
That's a guy.
Yep. Gonna see a 55.
And he can see me. Oh, you fuckboy. He's not gonna rate me stylish.
Praise 55.
Is he already done? Oh, it's a different person! That was quick. He must have hit pause. The previous guy, he must have just hit pause. So, what some fans did is they reached out to Roger Craig Smith and were like, hey, we kind of want to do like a voice, we want to do like an edit of this game, this part of the game where Ezio's in it. Could you actually do the voice acting? And he was like, yeah, sure. And I assume they must have paid him a little bit.
Yeah.
But, like, mostly it was just a cool thing he did.
Yeah. And that's the thing of, like, a lot of show business is like that, but voice acting especially is like, it's a gig, yeah, sure, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Like, you'll take anything you can get.
I'm sure they paid him something.
Yeah. Like, fuck it, yeah, if they have time, like, yeah, fuck it, I'll do that.
And so, like, it was just this little YouTube video where it's like, you know, here's Roger Craig Smith actually doing those lines for Ezio in this, like, you know, 3 fucking minute part of the game that he's in it. And Roger Craig Smith talked about it, and he said, like, okay, like, I did this as, like, a cool, fun little thing to do. Mm-hmm. Ezio as a character exists because of the amazing direction that and the scripting. Like, the lines I said were written by someone else, and the director, you know, like, we worked together to bring this character to life. The writer, the director, and me, the voice actor. Yeah. So, like, he was, like, admitting it in a way where, or, like, adding, like, an asterisk to his performance during that video where he's like, look, like, I'm not Ezio. Ezio is a collaborative effort.
Exactly.
Oh, I fucked that up.
Unlike a real person, a character is a collaboration between
Between
writer,
many
the
creative
story-
individuals.
story artists, the artists, and the voice actors and voice directors and everything.
So that's why, like, I have nothing but sympathy for, voice actors who, just aren't given anything to work with.
Yeah. And what do you have to fall back on at that point?
Yeah, just like, do your default
Yeah.
thing. And like, oh, god damn it, I'm so mad.